السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، أحسن الحديث حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد، رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Alhamdulillah, all praises due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the blessings that He has given us. If we were to start from the moment we are born to the moment we die, just praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thanking Him, we will not even be able to thank Him even one bit for all the blessings that He has given us. And we seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because verily we are all sinners. As Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in a hadith, كُلُّ بَنِي آدَمْ خَطَّاءٌ خَيْرُ الْخَطَّائِينَ التَّوَّابُونَ, that every son of Adam is a sinner, but the best of sinners is the one that repents to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. And we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all the evils of this world. And whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, none can misguide them. And whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves to be led astray, none can guide him. I bear witness that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His last and final messenger. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, and all of his companions. My dear brothers and elders in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this life. He has given us a short life of some years, months, and days, and He has given us this life as a test to see what we will do. On this earth we can do either good deeds or bad deeds. But in the end, all that matters is the deeds that we have done. That's the only thing that we will be able to take with us in the hereafter. And death comes to us all. None of us will be able to live forever. The only thing infinite is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything else in this world is finite. And because everything else is finite, we are also finite as well, and we will die. And when we die, the only thing we take with us to our graves is the deeds we have done. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will resurrect us on the day of judgment, and we will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with nothing but our deeds in our hands. And we will be brought to account for all the deeds that we have done in this world, whether that's good or whether that is bad. And based upon that, we will be judged. So anyone who does good deeds should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving him the ability to do those good deeds. And whoever does evil deeds should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, because without asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, none of us can be forgiven. Now, just as our life ends and everything else ends, the month of Ramadan has just ended and has just passed by us. And in this month of Ramadan, many of us spent time doing good things. The month of Ramadan is a time where Muslims, for the most part, they start doing good things. They start worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. They start doing good deeds more. And they do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded them to do, and refrain from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbade from them. And this is very evident as, we fast for the whole month of Ramadan. Every day we fast, and at night we stay up all night, or the last 10 nights we stay up all night. But every night we stay and pray the Tarawih Salah. Sometimes, if the Ramadan comes in the summer months, then Tarawih can go all the way up past midnight, sometimes even up until 1 a.m. But still Muslims stay up, past, this late, and they praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only that, but we also engage in the recitation of the Quran, as the month of Ramadan is the month of the Quran, and so many Muslims, they will read the Quran. Many Muslims, they spend the whole month reading the whole Quran, so every day they will read a juz. So for 30 days, 30 juz, and they will finish the whole Quran in the month of Ramadan. And there's many other things we do, such as we refrain from evil talks, bad talks, and from slandering, backbiting, and many other things. The month of Ramadan is a time where Muslims generally do good and stay away from evil. But the thing is, when Ramadan ends, unfortunately, many Muslims, they also stop doing what they were doing in the month of Ramadan. Once Ramadan ends, they go back to living their life the way they were living. They stop doing the good acts they were doing in Ramadan. They start, doing sins all over again like they were doing before Ramadan. And unfortunately, we don't use the Ramadan the way that it should be used. And this applies for majority everyone, including myself, that the stuff we were doing in Ramadan, we don't do that anymore after the month of Ramadan ends. Such as, we don't really fast anymore. Rarely any of us stay up all night praying salaat. The tilawat of the Quran usually dies down as well, and many other things usually dies down as Ramadan ends. Because this Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, it's like a training, it's like a boot camp, if you will, it's like a training ground where we should use this to better ourselves, to use this to get ready for the rest of the month, because in Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the shayateen. He provides many blessings and rewards in this month, so it's easy for a Muslim to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in other months, the shaitan is there and the evilness increases, so it's difficult for a person to continue doing what he was doing in Ramadan. That's why we should use the Ramadan as a training month, so that we train ourselves, train our nafs to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to do, so that in the rest of the months we can continue obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the same way that we were obeying Him in the month of Ramadan. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forever present. He is not a Ramadan God. He's our Lord 24/7. And as Muslims, we should not be, worshipping Ramadan, if you will. We should not be just doing good acts in the month of Ramadan and then outside of it, not continuing to do the good things that we were doing. Allah is, He's the Lord 24/7, so we should worship Allah, obey Allah, and do good 24/7, not just in the month of Ramadan. Of course, we should increase what we do in the month of Ramadan, but that doesn't mean that we leave doing what we were doing in the month of Ramadan, because it is our duty as Muslims to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 24/7. It is incumbent upon us to worship Allah 24/7. We don't only worship Allah some days, some months, some hours or whatever. We worship Allah 24/7. So whatever it is we were doing in the month of Ramadan, we continue doing this past the month of Ramadan. And one of the stuff that we do in Ramadan, whether it's the good stuff that we do in Ramadan, there are some signs that the scholars have said of whether our deeds in Ramadan have been accepted or not. And one of those signs is that a person who does good in the month of Ramadan, a sign of the acceptance of his deeds is that after Ramadan he continues doing those same deeds. And a sign of rejection of his deeds is that once Ramadan ends, he goes back to doing evil. He doesn't really do the stuff that he was doing in Ramadan. Now keep in mind, this is not like a direct fact that if this happens that 100% of your deeds are accepted or rejected. This is just a sign that the scholars have given from the vast knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. And these signs, they apply to virtually, they're not just restricted to Ramadan, they apply to all deeds that we do. Scholars say that a sign of acceptance of good deeds is that a good deed is followed up by another good deed. And a sign of a rejection of a good deed is that the good deed is followed up by an act of evil. So we should always strive to do good and then follow up that good deed with another good deed, so that this can be a sign and we can be sure that inshallah our deeds that we are doing are accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we do an act of evil, which we all will do as we're all sinners, we have to make sure that when we do a sin, we follow this sin up with an act of good. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Hud in verse 114 that indeed good deeds do away with the evil ones. So if we do an evil deed, we ask Allah for forgiveness and we follow it up with a good deed, and the sin that we did, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will wipe that away. And this is also backed by a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in Juma'a Tirmidhi, where he said that fear Allah wherever you are and follow a bad deed with a good deed and it will remove it. So follow up a bad deed with a good deed, and the good deed will remove the bad deed that we have done. So even if we do an act of evil, we should always follow that up with an act of good deed, so that inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive us. Now going back to the topic that I was just discussing of how many Muslims, they leave, the acts that they were doing in Ramadan, because, sometimes we think that these acts are specifically for Ramadan, such as fasting. People think that fasting is we should only do in Ramadan, but the fasting is not restricted to Ramadan. It should be done rather as much as we possibly can. It is the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he used to fast every Monday and every Thursday. And he would also fast on 3 white days, the 13th, 14th, and 15th of every month, the Islamic month, not the Gregorian calendar month, but every Islamic month, 13th, 14th, and 15th, he would fast, and every Monday and Thursday, there's a sunnah that he would fast. And the reason he did this was because he said in a hadith in Muslim and Tirmidhi that the deeds of a person are presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Mondays and Thursdays, and I would love for my deeds to be presented in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while I am in a state of fasting. So our deeds are presented to Allah on Mondays and Thursdays, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would fast, so that when his deeds are presented to Allah, he's in a state of fasting. So we should follow this example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and not just restrict ourselves to fasting just in the month of Ramadan, but rather fast, the way that he used to fast every Monday and Thursday. And it is also reported in a hadith in Sahih Muslim narrated by Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that whoever fasts during the month of Ramadan and then follows it up by fasting 6 days in the month of Shawwal, it will be as if he has fasted for the entire year. So this hadith is also, indication that fasting is not for Ramadan, but we should continue fasting after Ramadan. That whoever fasts 6 days in Shawwal, it will be as if he has fasted for the entire year. And scholars say that this comes from the fact of another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he said, whoever fasts in Ramadan and then fasts 6 days after Eid, it will be as if he has fasted the entire year, and whoever does a good deed shall have 10 times its reward. So scholars say that the 30 days we fast in Ramadan equals to 300 days, since each day is multiplied by 10. So that's 300 days, and then the 6 days of Shawwal is 60 days, so that equals 360 days, which is essentially a year. So fasting in the month of Ramadan should not just be our goal. We should fast outside of the month of Ramadan as well, following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Mondays and Thursdays, and also fasting the 6 days of Shawwal so that we can be rewarded for fasting for the entire year. And it's not just fasting that we should do beyond the Ramadan, but it's also the nightly prayers. Just as fasting is not restricted to Ramadan, neither is the nightly prayers that we have. Many Muslims, unfortunately after Ramadan, we don't really stay up, including myself. We don't really stay up the night and we pray at nightly prayers. Isha is usually the last time we pray, and then we go to sleep and wake up for Fajr. But the nightly prayers are something that's very important and has many virtues that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned, especially the Hajj Salat has many blessings. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith in Muslim narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu that the best prayer after the obligatory prayers is the night prayer. So we can see from this hadith that the night prayer is by far the most important prayer after the obligatory prayers. And another hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said that a man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, which prayer is the most virtuous after the obligatory prayers? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, prayer in the depths of the night. So we can see from this hadith that we shouldn't restrict ourselves to praying at night only in the month of Ramadan, but we should try and pray nightly prayers even past the month of Ramadan. In fact, every single day of our lives we should try and pray nightly prayers. And it comes to another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he said that at night there is a moment in which a Muslim supplicates to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the good of this world and for the good of the hereafter. And inshallah, Allah will grant him the request that he is making. So the dua that we make during the time of the Hajj, during the nightly prayers, barely will be accepted, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in his hadith. And Imam Shafi'i has a famous quote where he said that the dua during the time of the Hajj is like an arrow that never misses its target. So an arrow that never misses its target is always on spot. So if we make a dua during the Hajj, inshallah it will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is further backed up in a hadith in Bukhari Muslim. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah descends to the lowest heaven in the last third of every night, saying, who is calling upon me so that I may answer? Who is asking from me so that I may give? Who is seeking my forgiveness so that I may forgive? So all these hadiths are, evidence to the benefits of praying night prayer and showing that our nightly ibadah that we do, or nightly prayers that we do, should not be restricted solely to the month of Ramadan, but we should continue doing all these acts beyond the month of Ramadan, including the tilawat of the Quran. Like I said, many Muslims will finish the reading of the Quran in the month of Ramadan, but outside of it, we don't really read that much. Even myself, we don't really read the Quran that much, but the benefits of reading the Quran are immense. Just one hadith narrated by Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, where he said Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that reading one letter of the Quran is equivalent to 10 rewards. So Alif Lam Mim is not one reward, but Alif is 10 rewards. Alif Lam Mim is not one letter, but Alif is one letter, Lam is one letter, and Mim is one letter. So just reading Alif Lam Mim gets us 30 rewards. And there's many other blessings. So to conclude, the main point that I'm trying to get across is that just because Ramadan has ended doesn't mean the good that we have done in the month of Ramadan should end. We should continue doing the good that we have done beyond the month of Ramadan and continue doing the good throughout our whole lives. Because like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not restricted just to the month of Ramadan. We should not just worship Allah in the month of Ramadan, we should worship Him 24/7, and we should continue doing the good that we have done in the month of Ramadan and continue doing this. Like I said, the month of Ramadan is a training for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this month and made this month easy for us to get closer to Allah, to get closer to Him. And so we use this month to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and use what we have done in this month and continue doing that in the other months. And inshallah, because of that, we will be made successful in this world and in the hereafter. And last but not least, we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the ability to witness another month of Ramadan. You know, the month of Ramadan has so many blessings and so many virtues. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us and given us the ability to witness the month of Ramadan that many Muslims unfortunately are not able to witness. Many Muslims that were there with us last Ramadan are not with us here anymore, and they were not able to witness this beautiful month and attain the blessings and rewards of this month. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the ability to witness this month of Ramadan that just passed. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to witness more and more Ramadans until our death. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for all of the sins that we have committed. If we committed any sins in Ramadan or after Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of our sins. May He give us the ability to continue doing the good that we did in Ramadan and continue doing these goods all throughout the whole year. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us die as Muslims and make our accounting on the Day of Judgment easy, and make us enter into Jannah and be among the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions in Jannah. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Those brothers who have not offered the sunnah prayer, they can offer it before we start the khutbah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله علي ذات عظيم الصفات سمي السمات كبير الشان جليل القدر رفيع الذكر مطاع الأمر جليل البرهان فخيم الاسم غزير العلم وسيع الحلم كثير الغفران جميل الثناء جزيل العطاء مجيب الدعاء عميم الإحسان سريع الحساب شديد العقاب أليم العذاب عزيز السلطان ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له في الخلق والأمر ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله المبعوث إلى الأسود والأحمر المنعوت بشرح الصدر ورفع الذكر وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه الذين هم خلاصة العرب العرباء وخير الخلائق بعد الأنبياء أما بعد فيا أيها الناس وحدوا الله فإن التوحيد رأس الطاعات واتقوا الله فإن التقوى ملاك الحسنات وعليكم بالسنة فإن السنة تهدي إلى الإطاعة وما أطاع الله ورسوله فقد رشد واهتدى وإياكم والبدعة فإن البدعة تهدي إلى المعصية ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل وغوى وعليكم بالصدق فإن الصدق ينجي والكذب يهلك وعليكم بالإحسان فإن الله يحب المحسنين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخلين بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله يستعينه واستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذرياته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر وأصدقهم حياء عثمان وقضاهم علي وفاطمة سيدة النساء أهل الجنة الحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة وحمزة أسد الله وأسد رسوله. اللهم اغفر للعباس وولده مغفرة ظاهرة وباطنة لا تغادر ذنبا. الله في أصحابه لا تتخذوهم غرضا من بعدي فمن أحبهم فبحبي أحبهم ومن أبغضهم فببغضي أبغضهم وخير أمتي قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أهوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.